This is The Roadmap with Ted Jenkin.
Hey everybody, this is Ted Jenkin and welcome to another episode of The Roadmap exclusively here on America's Small Business Network. Every week, I try to bring you some of the brightest and best CEOs and entrepreneurs in and around the United States, blue-collar businesses, white-collar businesses. We talk about how to start them, scale them, and maybe one day exit stage left. Today, I've got a friend of mine, David Artman. He's the CEO of Atlanta Palms. It's just such an interesting business. I just have to start this off by asking you, how the heck did you get into the palm tree business?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ted, and thanks for having me. It started 17 years ago. I put a pool in my backyard, and of course, when you have a pool, you got to have palm trees.
You do, right?
Living in Atlanta, you're used to going to Destin, Florida. I'm a Pittsburgh boy, and all of a sudden, I moved to Atlanta, and I learned of this amazing place called Destin, Florida, and you go there, and the palm trees are amazing. So, I put a swimming pool in, and I wanted to have palm trees, and I noticed my local Home Depot sold palm trees, little 30-gallon palm trees. So I took a chance. I bought a bunch of them. I planted them in my yard. Fast forward, 12 years later, they're huge. I just bought a building for another business I have, another entrepreneur business I have, and I decided to go into the palm tree business.
So is there a demand right now for people out there? Obviously, with COVID and everything, more people are spending money on their homes. They were putting in pools, enhancing their backyard. But is there a demand where people say, hey, David, I want a palm tree in my backyard?
Well, Ted, there better be. I'm in the palm tree business, but there absolutely is. There's 3 palm trees that do very well in the Atlanta market. You got a windmill palm, dwarf palmettos, and needle palms. These are extremely cold hardy palms that will handle pretty much everything Atlanta can throw at it, weather-wise, as far as the winter goes. And people love these trees. They're easy to plant, they're easy to maintain, and they look like you're at the beach. They're not quite as great as some of the palm trees you'll see at the beach, because they're a different variety. But
it's not like going to LA or you're going down and you're
not seeing royal palms, on Palm Row on Rodeo Drive.
But could this be done anywhere? Like when you look at the model on how you're building this business, obviously you're in Atlanta, you're selling palm trees, but could you sell palm trees to people that live in North Carolina? Do palm trees, can they work anywhere?
Yeah, the country's based on what they call growing zones. And I think they go as far north as a 4 down to Florida, that's 11. And we can service from about 5 down to 11.
Wow.
So, some of these palm trees, the 3 I mentioned, there's companies that offer these up in the Northeast. They'll survive certain events up at the Northeast. You may have to do some things in the wintertime,
to cover them up, or
you may have to cover them
be.
up. You may have to add again, this is in the extreme areas. In our area, you're not going to have to do that.
So basically, south by southeast, really.
Yeah.
And even going out west, you don't have to do that as much. But if you lived in Boston and you get a hard winter, you might have to cover the trees during the winter. Do you actually?
Yeah.
Did you build a farm to grow the trees, or do you buy the trees from somewhere and then you curate them locally and sell them out?
That's what we're doing. We're doing the curating locally right now, but that's our plan, is to expand where we have our own growing fields. And we're doing the step up through the, seedling up to, 6, 18-foot palm trees.
How do you manage a business? Because first of all, what does it cost to buy a palm tree? And how do you manage that inventory? Because I imagine if somebody comes on the lot, they're looking at 40, 50, 60, 100 palm trees, which means you've got to carry that inventory,
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's an inventory-intensive business. People want to, pick out the tree they want. They all have different ability to afford things, so you have to have ones that are small, under $100, and we have palm trees that are $2,000, $3,000.
Wow!
And we carry, that same, assortment of trees. So it's certainly capital-intensive, but with our model right now, in that we're buying from local growers down in the Florida market, Louisiana market, South Carolina market, we just have to worry about filling up our lot right now and having the right supply, that when you visit us, we have what you want.
So there's some people in the produce business that might track the prices of avocados or tomatoes. Based upon where you're buying that supply, you're actually just tracking and saying, but better prices on palm trees in Louisiana or better in Florida.
Yeah.
Is it that scientific?
Certainly, you have to be competitive pricing wise, and there's a science
Right.
to it. But there's other factors that make you want to buy from somebody. In our particular case, we're going to heavily service that product for you. We're going to warranty the product for a year. If you want us to, we'll come install the product for you.
I see.
We'll maintain the product for you. I mean, there's fee structures associated with all of that, but they're reasonable and fair. And if you're somebody who loves palm trees, if you want to add tranquility to your home without having to go to the beach, we're the company you call.
But is it really, David? It's a wholesale retail model, right? You buy these palm trees at a certain cost wholesale. You figure out what your operating expenses are in the business, where your margins want to be, and then
Right.
you've got to price out the trees plus installation and whatever it is when you deliver them to the client.
It's a classic distribution model, no different than any other e-com business. You buy from a wholesaler, an importer. In our case, we're lucky we don't have to, we're not bringing in from an importer,
Right.
because, we're not getting things from China. It's all USA-based stuff. But yeah, you got to price it out. You got to know what all your factors are. You've got inbound freight. You've got unloading the truck. You've got some maintenance with the product. You've had some attrition
Right.
that can happen with any live.
Just that the trees
So-
get damaged because of
Yeah.
Are there a lot of risks in this business? When you think about it, I mean, I'm assuming it's not an easy business to enter, but you get into it. Are there risks that seasonally there could be frost down in Florida and you just don't get as many palm trees, or they're more expensive? Is it that way? Like when you look at produce, is it that similar?
I don't think it's similar to produce. I mean, produce has a much shorter shelf life.
Right.
But there are similarities, and we did run into that adversity. I think a lot of us in Atlanta can remember the 2022
Yeah,
freeze.
Ice-mageddon or whatever it was.
Ice-mageddon comes in right at Christmas time, almost ruined Christmas. We lost some palm trees only because we were carrying some more exotic trees that
Right.
weren't quite designed for our area, but given the recent temperature changes, our temperatures are going up. What I think we're seeing is extreme temperatures. Things are getting hotter, but when it's colder, it seems colder.
Right.
And we ran into those events in December of 22 and January of 23. But we've pivoted our model to the 3 bulletproof, we like to call them, palm trees, the ones that are the most cold hardiest. And then we're putting together systems if you want to go into some more exotic type palms. Those would be your Europeans, your Pindus, your mules. These are fast growing, still considered cold hardy palms, but will struggle if you have a massive freeze.
So when people think about any business model, including this one, you've got a great location here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
The business is scaling out. What's your vision about how this grows out? Is it a you set up a location and then all of a sudden you have Charlotte palms and you have Nashville palms, or is it a franchising model? Like, how do you think about that as an operator of the business?
That's exactly our plan. We started off with what we considered a regional office, which was the Atlanta market. I live here. I understand this market. So this was always meant to be a regional, local play. The grand scheme for us is to launch USA Palms. We're building it out as we speak. And then it's just like you said, we'll have regional offices, whether it's called Charlotte Palms, Houston Palms, Dallas Palms, you name it. But that's the plan. And, the palm trees are more than just what you put into the ground. There's lots of people that do what we call patio palms. There's nothing to stop you from putting a palm tree on your patio. It may not be for your market.
A little slice of paradise.
Yeah,
there.
a little slice of paradise. You may drag it into the house for the wintertime. There's a lot of people that have indoor palms. 5 of the top selling indoor plants are palm trees.
Really?
And so, this is what really could fuel our regional offices, where we have regional offices that are servicing the indoor market, the patio palm market, and the planted in your yard market.
David, talk to us about the marketing strategy. I know you're a digital marketing expert, so even as you consider this USA Palms and how you plan to capture either keywords or get organic ranking, and then locally, is it still done mostly through search and SEO, or literally is it the side of the road and people drive by and they go, whoa, there's a palm tree, let me get one of those?
All of it, right? I mean, you're right. I've been doing digital marketing a long time. I have a weapon company. I sell non-lethal weapons. I've been doing that 21 years. That's where I learned the digital marketing business, the distribution business. I bought a building which houses that particular business. Instead of me going out and getting a tenant, I decided to start Atlanta Palms. It had been an idea I had for a long time. You know, and the reason I mentioned the weapon part of the business is because I have limitations on my advertising. So I can't do PPC
because of Facebook and what Google say you can't.
Google and Meta do not allow you to advertise weapons. So that makes your
like nunchucks and stars and stuff like that.
I mean, think about, most of us believe that, but think about it. It's even sillier than that. Pepper spray cannot be marketed and advertised on Google and Meta. And that's, I mean, I think most of us would agree, we feel our women and our mothers and our girlfriends and our wives in life are better protected if they have pepper spray on their keychain. Yeah. Well, you can't advertise those things, but you know, on Google and Meta and some of the bigger PPC platforms. Palm Trees doesn't have that limitation. So the sky's the limit, but you want to have all of your digital marketing areas rolling. You want to have SEO, PPC, email marketing, social media marketing, affiliate marketing, display ads. There's no limitations on live plant goods and the palm trees we sell. And that's our plan. But certainly from a local standpoint, you go after the local keywords and then you go from there. You know, when you're starting off, like USA Palms is going to have a disadvantage in that it's going to be a brand new entity in a couple of weeks, right? Well, you know, it takes time for your SEO to hit. That's where PPC is such an advantage, because you can be first page Google in minutes. And same thing with Meta and any other PPC platform you can run on. You know, you can start cranking out the ads and there you are, first page of whatever search engine platform they're on. And so that's going to be a big advantage for us with USA Palms.
Is this business largely a residential business, or does it have commercial? And as you think about the growth, will you do more commercial?
Yeah, there's so many opportunities here. It's not just people that want to put something in their dorm room, or a homeowner that wants to do their patio or backyard. There's lots of businesses that want to bring atmosphere to their business, whether it's their atrium in their waiting room. A lot of restaurants are fighting for you to pick their outdoor space versus the guy next door. The right ambiance can make a difference. So we envision subscription models where we go in and stage palm trees in your business for whatever period of time that's appropriate. It'll be the outdoor season because that's when people are outdoors. But there's lots of opportunity for commercially.
And I'm curious, you know, as you scale this business, because people buy this, is there any way to create recurring revenue in this business, or is it really a one-time purchase and maybe I might buy some more down the road?
You know, I really wasn't sure how that was going to go. I know for me, I have 50 palm trees in my yard right now.
You have 50?
Yeah. It's been a migration of love over the years.
Sounds like it,
yeah. So I knew my model, but that doesn't mean it's everybody's model. Happy to report, you know, the last year I looked this morning because I wanted to have the right numbers. 42% of our customers have come back for multiple palm trees.
Wow, that is surprisingly high.
It is really high. And, you know, my partner and I were talking about it the other day, and he feels it's closer to 90%. Now, I'm not seeing that in my data.
Right.
And you know, us sales guys, marketing guys are optimists, but at the end of the day, 42, I'll take 42, 43%, you know, and that's without us doing any, I mean, that doesn't, you know, you got to remember we're a young business. What does that look like over a 5 or 10 year period? You know, I think that's where his number is tilting much higher than what I'm seeing data-wise.
And how do you know as you build this when's the right time to exit stage left? How will you know when's the right time to sell this business if you sell it at all?
Well, I think that, you know, you're getting approached. You know, maybe you're, you know, both businesses that I have right now, they're labors of love. You know, I want the right company to take it to the next level. Every entrepreneur usually is better at being an entrepreneur than they are at growing a business to something really massive. There's other companies that are better at that. And so I think that's what most entrepreneurs do. They start a business and they grow it to a point where maybe it isn't fun anymore, or they have another idea.
Right.
And by then people are asking you about it, or you know when you have an opportunity to exit and possibly do something different.
What's the number one palm tree that you sell, period? I'd love for the audience to know.
Right now it's the windmill palm. It's a palm tree that originally came out of the Himalayas.
The windmill palm.
Yeah, it's an extremely cold hardy palm tree. I have a ton of them in my yard. They look more like palm trees. You know, they get tall, they have a nice canopy at the top. They have a very fibrous trunk, which is how they're cold hardy. It protects its bud, which is the brain of the tree, the heart of the tree. But there's other ones we sell that are really great too. But that's my most bulletproof for the Atlanta market. That's what Atlanta loves the most, is the windmill palm.
Well, continued success on the business. Thanks so
Ted.
much for coming on the Roadmap today. Folks, there are a million different ways to be able to build a business, scale it, and one day maybe you too will exit stage left, just like David's doing with Atlanta Palms. Check it out somewhere online. Maybe you need a palm tree in your backyard. Thanks for watching the Roadmap every week right here exclusively on America's Small Business Network. I'm Ted Jenkins.
Thanks for watching The Roadmap with Ted Jenkins.